Hey everybody, Ron Harris here. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching. Of course, before we get started, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you like these videos, please hit that thumbs up, share it on your social media platforms. All this really helps me out. It doesn't cost you anything. So let's get into it. I did a video a few days ago called What I Wish I Knew Then. And a lot of it was focused in the earlier part of the video about ego lifting, one thing that I deeply regret. And I've gotten some flack when I've commented on ego lifts that I've seen on Instagram. Guys like Sam Sulek, even a former mentor of mine, Rich Gaspari, has been posting some ego lifting type stuff lately. People say, who are you to talk about ego lifting? And how dare you criticize others? Well, I can talk about ego lifting because I've done more than my fair share, a lot of ego lifting, and I do have some of it on video. I rolled some of those clips on the earlier, and I'll get to those later, but I want to start with some clips that you haven't seen yet. Some examples of some dumb things I did. And when I say dumb, it's because they weren't really contributing toward building muscle mass. It was really just showing off. It was ego lifting. It was either a lot of weight for very few reps and incomplete range of motion, or sometimes it was a lot of reps, but the range of motion was horrible. In any case, it wasn't really doing anything to actually build my physique. It was more to build my ego, which is why it's called ego lifting. Let's get into one that I saw. There's a machine squat that I used to load up back in the day. I did 18 reps with every plate it can hold. Let's take a look, shall we? Oh, thank you. Ouch. I mean, you could see range of motion was crap. I was not going anywhere near parallel. Had I gone deep, let's say I went below parallel or even a little below that, I don't know if I would have gotten one rep. That's why I got so many reps, 18, because they were half reps. So let's add them up and count it as 9 reps, but not even, because if I had gone all the way down below, I would have been stuck. Didn't have the strength. Purely an ego lift there. As big as my legs weren't as strong as they were, there was no reason for me to do anything dumb like that. But that didn't stop me. I did plenty of ego lifting. Let's take another look at something else that was completely pointless. So the title of that video, these are all from this channel, by the way. I have hundreds of these going back 17 years. Yeah, I've had this channel since 2006, guys. This channel's been around a long time. A lot of crappy old grainy footage on it like that. So it was called Hammer Shrug Deadlift, 6 plates. So deadlift, I should have had the word deadlift in quotes because that was not a deadlift. Could I take 6 plates off the floor on a bar with a deadlift? No, never did that in my life. A lot of you guys have, so props to you. But it was again, a shortened range of motion. It was a machine lift. I don't think there was anything being accomplished there except to say, wow, I put every plate that thing could hold, and I did some deadlifts. Man, let's keep it going. So I showed this one before, but I'm going to show it again because I want to contrast it with what I could do without a spotter. So this was military press, 315 for 7 reps. So let's take a look at it, and then I will critique it myself. You guys can too, but I mean, I'm my own worst critic, and I should be in this case. Wait. 2, 3. Up. Nice. 1. Come on, you got this. Nice. Come on. 1. Come on. 1. Yeah, when somebody says all you got this, it's a good indication it wasn't all you, and you didn't really have it. That was the case there. I didn't really have it. My friend Jason had it. So you noticed, if you noticed, my foot was, I had one foot really lodged firmly up against that foot bar in the bottom, and I was not really seated. I was leaned back at an incline angle. So it was really like a seated incline press. Now, I wanted to show you what I could do without a spotter and with supposedly better form, because I said on the other video, yeah, I could do 225 for good reps, but let's see if that was actually true. Are these really good reps? Let's take a look. Again, massive arch in my back. My back was not flat against the seat back. I don't know. I can't do that movement anymore because my shoulders are gone. And this is part of the reason they're gone, is dumb stunts like that. This is why I've had no cartilage inside my shoulder joints for well over a decade. It's why I need both my shoulders replaced. This has been confirmed with orthopedic specialists. I need both of them replaced. I'm not going to do it. So even there, even with 2 plates, which was down a whole plate, down a whole 90 pounds, and I did it without a spotter, but could have gone down a little lower, but that's not the main point. The main point is I was not flat against the seat. I was like this. That's why it looks like I'm standing up. It doesn't look like I'm sitting. My body looks straight because it was straightened out like in an incline, basically like a standing incline press with all kinds of support, a back to lean up against, and my foot's jammed in there. I bet a good seated incline press with my back flat, I can't say how much I ever did. Maybe 185 for like 10, 12 reps, but I wasn't doing anything there to really build my shoulders. It was more build my ego. It was ego lifting. That's why I say dumbbells are much more humbling, because you have to keep them balanced. And even then, it's anything where you have a seat back, you can lean back and cheat. The only really strict way to do a press, an overhead press with no cheating, is if you stand up. And if you stand up, those of you who have tried it know it's much, much tougher. You can't lean back and cheat, or you'll fall back on your ass. You have to use pure shoulder strength. The most I ever did with the standing barbell press was probably like 135. Maybe I put a 10 on each side, so maybe 155. But without all that support, without being able to cheat, basically by bracing myself up against something, a seat back, and keeping my body locked in a position like that, I wasn't really that strong. But it was ego lifting. Let's keep it going. I want to show some more ego lifts. I showed a hack squat last time in my last video, but this was even worse. The form was actually good. You'll see. I actually did go all the way down. The reps were good, but when I look at this now, I'm like, is this what led to my quad eventually tearing? Was going crazy heavy? Was it really necessary to go this heavy? Let's take a look. Come on. Okay, so you probably noticed I had knee wraps on there. Now, knee wraps in and of themselves are not a bad thing. They don't constitute cheating. However, a lot of people use knee wraps simply to be able to use more weight, because there's that spring effect, like a spring, especially when you wrap them up tight around your knees. When you go into that bottom position, there's a little bit of a rebound effect. There's all that tightening of the wraps, and then that sort of forces a little bit of pressure up. So they're helping you. They're helping you lift more weight. And again, my quads were always a strong point. My legs were always strong. They grew and they responded very well. There was no reason to do stupid things like that. I did it simply because I could. I did want to challenge myself, but why did I want to challenge myself? To say I'm the strongest hack squatter in the gym? I said that and $5 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. So dumb things like that, going super, super heavy on legs, even if the form was good, I don't think it was a good idea. Now, looking back at it, because hindsight is 20/20. Here I am, 54 years old with aches and pains all over my body. And I'm thinking, what led to this? What led to my shoulders feeling this bad, my back, my lower back, my knees? And I can look back at all these things. Some of them I have on video to look back at, say, oh yeah, that's what I did. That's why. So let's look at some barbell rows. Barbell rows, they're supposed to be bent barbell rows. That's what the old school name for them was. You still hear people say bent barbell rows. As you'll see, I wasn't really bending over very much at all here. Here was 315 for 12 or whatever.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you can hear my older brother Dana, who was taping it, saying, nice, nice. Raymond Jones, who's a frequent contributor, a participant in the live chats here, he noted after the last video, why did your gym mates let you do such stupid form? It's because, well, a lot of times either we were competing with each other to see who could lift more weight and the form was like out the window, or if I was with someone like my older brother who was very, much less experienced and much easily impressed, anything I did was gospel to him. I could do no wrong in his eyes in the gym. So, but there were so many things wrong with that set. So many things wrong with the way I used to do barbell rows, which I can't even do them anymore. My lower back will not let me use them any more than like a 25 on each side, properly bent over. So for one, I wasn't bent over. This is about the angle you want to be at on a barbell row. I was about here. So what's this is about 45. I was about a 70. So I wasn't getting a full stretch at the bottom. I wasn't getting a full contraction at the top. I was moving the weight about not much. Lats weren't doing a whole lot. I actually get much better lat workouts now that I can't do things like that because I do almost everything with chest support. And no, I don't. I do T-bar rows non-supported, but a lot of things I do on a bench with dumbbells, or I use hammer strength machines that we have. A couple other machines I like. But those were not bent barbell rows. It was ego lifting. I wish I had a video because I know I went up to 405 a few times, and I'm sure the form was even worse than that. There was even less. The lats were doing even less there, which is hard to imagine because they weren't doing much there. Let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. Let's look at my incline dumbbell presses. This is about as heavy as I ever went. I think I went to 140s, 150s a couple times with spotters lifting part of the weight. This is probably the heaviest I was ever able to go without somebody helping. Come on. Gotcha. Yeah.
Go. Go up. Up. Push.
Whew. So the form wasn't atrocious. Definitely wasn't going all the way down. It could have gone down a little lower. 7 reps. Looking back, I don't think I would have done anywhere near as many sets under 8 reps as I did over the years. I did a lot of sets, sometimes 3-4 reps because, I misjudged. It was a weight I wanted to see if I could do for like 8 reps, and I didn't get 8 reps. I would sometimes get like 3, 4, 5 because it was too heavy. It was always like, well, I did 8 reps with 130s. Let me try 140s. And yeah, too much of a jump. But unfortunately, there were no like 131-pound dumbbells I could have used. But pure ego. Did that for years and years. Always had a good chest. There was never a reason for me to go super, super heavy on chest. I could have done 10 to 12 reps all the time with weight I could really control and get a full range of motion. My chest still would have been as good. Maybe it would have even been better. Who knows? Let's keep it going. What else do I got here? I'm going to go back to some of the old ones. The dumbbell curls. I know I showed this last time. But these were 70s. Swing. You'll see a lot of guys on Instagram doing the same style with very heavy weights now. When you're swinging like that, the biceps don't do a whole lot. You know, your upper body, the only thing moving really should be your forearm going up and down. Everything else should be sort of locked in place. A little bit of cheating is okay if you've already done at least a few really good reps in strict form, then you can loosen up your form. But if you're cheating from the get-go, from rep 1, you're not doing yourself any favors, and especially on curls. Your biceps are not going to really grow from a bunch of heavy cheat reps. My biceps became a much better body part. My triceps never did, but my biceps became a much better body part once I stopped doing dumb things like that. And I would use a weight that I could really stay strict on. Just keep that elbow pinned to my side and come up. Squeeze, get a full range, a full stretch at the bottom, full contraction at the top, instead of this heaving, especially with the dumbbells. When you're doing those heavy alternate dumbbell curls and cheating, you'll see your body's all over the place. You're leaning toward the working arm. You're cutting the range of motion short. It's just all kinds of bad there, guys. I have to show this again because this was horrific example of how to use a hammer strength machine. Pretty awesome, right? Yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty awesomely bad. So one thing, you see a lot of ego lifting on these hammer back machines. And look, I'm as guilty as anybody, as you saw right there. I don't do that anymore. I rarely go over 4 plates anymore, even though I can still pull pretty well. My pushing ability is quite limited because of the shoulders injuries, but I can still pull some good weight. There's not as much pain and impingement in the joint. But here's a point: when you're using anything with a chest support, you want to stay on that pad, because here's what happens. So watch my arm. Do I have to stand up because I'm so short? Here I am with my chest not moving, okay? See how far back my elbow is going behind me? That's a full contraction for the lat. When you're going super heavy and now you're leaning, here's the pad's over here, you can't get the elbow back. You can't get the range of motion. It's impossible. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're doing a partial rep. You're going to get partial results, partial development, when you could have been getting great results, full results. It's a matter of checking your ego at the door when you walk into the gym. And it's hard, guys. I know it's hard. You can see this is just a small example of all the dumb things I did. I think that's all the clips that I had loaded. So now I'll do one more. This was that 150-pound dumbbell row. Again, shows an example of it.
6 or 8 good ones. Stay there. Woo! Good ones is going to be relative to
Yeah, again, horrible, incomplete range of motion. Lats not really being activated that much at all. It was showing off. It was pure ego lifting because I had a camera there and I knew this was going to be video. We're going to post this on MD. So, oh boy, I'm going to use the 150s. Also, I was training with a guy, Matt Puglia, who was much, much stronger than me. And I was just not about to let him show me up. Why? Ego, because of my ego. Oh boy, ego is your worst enemy in the gym, guys. So, before I go, I know some people are going to mention those pro bodybuilders who have seemingly used horrible form. Branch Warren's a buddy of mine, so I'm not putting him on blast, but he's a good example of someone who you don't see him ever slowly squeezing the muscle. It's really just powering through, power bodybuilding, a lot of ballistic speed, very, very heavy weights. He still trains that way. But But and people say Ronnie Coleman trains super heavy. He did the ego lifting too, the 800-pound squat and deadlift. Guys, these people that are genetic elite, because it worked for them, does not mean it's going to work for you. In fact, I guarantee it's not going to work for you unless you happen to be their evil twin. Maybe not evil, but just a twin. People like to always bring up the exceptions to the rule. For the most part, any of you who attempt very heavy training, incomplete range of motion, using a lot of momentum and bad form and bringing other muscle groups into play, you're not going to get good results, and you're probably going to get hurt. If you don't get an acute injury, not cute, but acute meaning a sudden injury like a tear, you could set yourself up for things like arthritis down the line. I mean, like I said, all the pain I'm in today at 54, it's because of all the dumb things I did. The super heavy weight that I used for all those years, when I should have had a lot more periods where I used more moderate weight, higher reps, just better form, not doing these stunts, these ego lifting. So like I said, guys, if I come down on ego lifting now, it's only because I know from experience, personal experience, what the long-term effects are. You're setting yourself up for a lot of injuries. You're probably not going to get the best gains in muscle. You're not going to build the best physique you could have if you do a ton of ego lifting. So I would say if you want to challenge yourself every now and then, that's okay, but make it an occasional thing. Don't make the majority of your training focused around ego lifting. It's just not a good idea. It's dangerous. It's not going to give you the best results. And I know this from personal experience. And I'm just trying to help you guys, avoid making a lot of the mistakes that I made, because I made plenty of mistakes over the years in many areas, training, nutrition, PEDs, all kinds of mistakes that I made. And it's sort of been my mission as a writer and now as a podcaster, whatever the heck you want to call this, to try to help prevent others from making the same mistakes that I did, so you guys can get better results, avoid the injuries, avoid all the pain. I don't know you guys, but I don't want you being my age and just my shoulders, my back, my knees, my elbows, because a lot of guys my age who did the ego lifting, we're all in the same boat. We're in constant chronic pain all the time, and a lot of us can't do many exercises that we used to anymore. I can't really squat anymore. Never was a big deadlifter. I can't bench press. I can't do overhead press with free weights anymore. A lot of things that I can't do any kind of bent row with a bar anymore. Just things I used to be able to do and I took for granted, but I'm so jacked up. My body's just so thrashed now. My joints, my connective tissues. Those are all memories. And I'm not complaining. I had a great run, guys. I had a great run. Many years of hard, heavy training. Built a pretty good physique. Nothing spectacular, but it was pretty damn good, especially considering where I started from. So that's what my message is for you guys today, is really try to check your ego at the gym door. Avoid the ego lifting. I know it's harder now because of social media. It's so tempting to take these ego lifting sets because they do get plenty of clicks and views. But guys, just try to think in the long term. Think about your future self. Do you really want to be in pain and very limited in your training years from now? And do you want to limit the results you're getting? Because that's what you're doing with all the ego lifting, is you're preventing yourself from really training the muscle and working the muscle properly by doing these things. So that's my message for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate you guys watching, of course. And I'll see you right here next time on this channel. It's called My Name, Ron Harris.